Hey, welcome to Toontyme, bringing you Newcastle United news and discussion. So, there's been quite a bit of news today in regard to Alexander Isak. He's on Tyneside. He's completed his medical, and an announcement is expected probably tomorrow, as he needs to be registered so he can be available for the game against Wolves on Sunday. So, yeah, they've moved really quickly with this. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday the bid was made. Everything just was done very quickly. You can see that they're trying to be a lot more effective in terms of how to do these transfers now. That once they identify the target, it's quickly done as in terms of making a bid, concluding the personal terms with the players, agents, and then moving forward. So you know that the club has already done their checks in terms of scouting and character issues, as all the players that have come since the takeover, none of them have any issues in their past or anything, or any talk of being unprofessional. You know, they're all players striving to improve themselves, and they've had no issues. You know, there's no talk of any players thinking they're above the project, or that that this is a stepping stone. They're coming to Newcastle fully committed, and you can see that's part of the transfer strategy. We're gonna see how he does. Hopefully, we might get to see him on Sunday. It's not likely we'll be starting. It could happen, but from the examples that it has shown through the players that he's brought in, very few have gone on to start, and especially considering he at most might have a training session tomorrow, yeah, and he's already everything. It's not up in the air, but you know that settling in period. Eddie Howe, you can see that he likes to try and just bring players through slowly and make certain that they're settled and ready to. Once he's happy with what he's seeing, then he'll let them loose. But it won't be very long that you get to see to get to see Isaac play. I think because you don't spend that type of money to have a player of his quality just sitting on the bench. You know, he had to do something like that with Bruno when we had the winning run when Bruno first joined. You couldn't put him into the first team, but once you saw he coming on for those cameos, you could see the quality and it was undeniable. You couldn't just keep him on the bench. You had to find a way to get him into the team. That's how it is when you got players of really high quality. Then you have to find a way to make it work. And Eddie Howe definitely will find a way to get him into the team pretty quickly. And considering the bad news we've had today as well in terms of Callum Wilson, that he's out for 3 to 4 weeks, as the scan on his hamstring has flared something up. So it's unfortunate it's happened. I don't really like saying this, but I think everyone knew it was quite likely that he would pick up an injury or two during the season. I'm really sorry for him that it's happened this early. You know, but you could see he was moving quite gingerly through the past couple of games, and then that happened. Especially, I feel like in the games against the higher level teams in the league, he's he's gonna be necessary for him to do a lot more pressing, and that can't help him in his situation, as his hamstrings are. I don't know what the diagnosis would be, but they're causing him a lot of trouble, and I don't know how they can alleviate it for him. So I think it's just a thing of giving him more rest and trying to make certain he has enough time between games to fully recover, as it keeps happening. And I don't know how the club's is going to approach it going forward, but they'll find a way. Eddie Howe will work with it, and he knows that every time that he has these setbacks, that Callum Wilson's got the right mindset, and he's got a very strong mindset. That's what you have to remember. The fact that he's suffered so many injuries and he continually comes back and puts in 100% effort. The one thing I say about him, no matter what injuries we've seen him have, whenever he comes back, you don't see him making decisions just to make certain that he's protected in terms of not picking up another injury. You can see it's always 100% that he gives, and truthfully, he should try to protect himself. But you can see that that's the type of character you need in the team. That these players will push themselves to the limit in terms of giving everything they've got to get the best out of themselves and then the best out of their team and teammates. And it can only be only help the dressing room to see that he's always fully committed, and I know the players must be really disappointed for him, especially as he got that goal on Sunday. And I really do feel he could have a 15 to 20 goal season if he could find a way to avoid the injuries. But it's just really hard with a player who's so explosive and fast. It happens, Anyway, I saw Darren Eales, the new CEO of Newcastle United. He's on YouTube, on the Newcastle United YouTube channel, and he's talking about all of his experiences and how it's led him to this point. And you can see he's done a lot in football. He's experienced a lot. He's worked in the UK. He's worked in the US. He talked about at Atlanta. He was the first employee for Atlanta United, and that was a time when they were just the initial franchise, so they had no name, kit colours, anything, and he's helped them create their own history and their own identity. And he's coming to Newcastle, and as you know, most English football clubs have quite a long storied history, and he knows it's not the same, but this is a new chapter in that history, and you can see someone who's extremely focused, experienced, and he wants to get excellence from everyone who's around him. He's known Dan Ashworth since when he was at West Brom together, and he knows how he works. He knows how he's a good person as well as a dedicated professional. So they're going to be able to create a strat. They're trying to create that strategy to make the club fully functioning, fully fluid, from top to bottom. That the process is made as smooth as possible to deliver the results that are necessary. And the way he sounded, he's a really professional person, and you can see how that when he takes up a task, he's dedicated to it, and he'll do the utmost to get the most out of what he's trying to do. He was talking about when he's at Newcastle 3 years ago to complete the Miguel Almiron deal, how things are so different between now and then, and he's talking about how the city is like a electricity in the air, as everyone's really excited, and the fact that shows the communal atmosphere of Newcastle United to the city of Newcastle. If the club's doing well, or the fans can feel like that something's about to happen, or we're trying to be positive, then it feeds into the people, and that's how it should be. That's how football should make everyone feel. It's as much as entertainment, it's you can get that enjoyment out of it because the entertainment is in seeing the team continue to grow and continuing to try and be the best of itself, and that's what this takeover has allowed us to see. Yeah, so he's also talking about trying to build up the commercial revenues which will eventually feed into the playing squad, as well as making certain that the working atmosphere at Newcastle is one where they do strive for excellence, but there's an atmosphere where everyone can enjoy themselves and have fun. And as much as they're trying to create history and create something that's great, they also want everyone to enjoy the experience and to make it as fun as possible. It's also, according to Luke Edwards of the Telegraph, that the Pedro deal's dead and buried due to getting Alexander Isak. But I've also seen a lot of comments where everyone is discrediting him. To be honest, he's quite divisive, I would say, this journalist, and he's been saying quite a few things in terms of basically pouring like cold water on things concerning Newcastle in terms of like the transfer budget for this summer, which according to him at the start was £50 million, and that's been proven extremely wrong. I feel like he's still trying to show that he has some insight into the club, but I feel like his sources have dried up there now, especially with Steve Bruce and Lee Charnley gone. The links he probably had in the club are dead or dying off very slowly. The fact that there's been no transfer leaks over the past few weeks is due to Dan Ashworth tightening up the ship, and things of that nature are gonna be very hard to come by. So it'll be very few people who will know, and they'll only be allowed to know by Dan Ashworth letting certain things leak out. So we'll have to wait and see. I would understand it. He may be right on this one, to be honest, because there has been a lot of money spent now, and the club does have to be mindful of the financial fair play. So it'll probably be a couple of loans that the club's looking at. So we'll have to wait and see. There's also Martin Dubravka. There's been a loan offer, according to certain outlets, that Manchester United are trying to get him on loan. I've seen some comments where everyone's saying that they should try and do what Manchester United done to us in January, where they tried to ask for extortionate amounts for when Newcastle made loan offers for Jesse Lingard. But I don't feel that's right. That what they done was extremely petty, and to be honest, it was pathetic. As what they done was they never allowed a player that they didn't want. They didn't allow him an opportunity to showcase his abilities by going out on loan again. And he may not have wanted to come to Newcastle, because I think I remember at the time he says he didn't want to get in a relegation fight. But that's not right what they were doing, and there's no reason that Newcastle should try and reciprocate that. And I don't feel like the club would try and to do that, as if Martin Dubravka came to the hierarchy and said, listen, I want to compete for first team minutes. It doesn't look like I'm going to get in front of Nick Pope, and I know as a professional he wouldn't wish an injury on Nick Pope. So he said, I'll go elsewhere where I may not have I may not be the first team goalkeeper, but I may have more opportunities to play matches, as Manchester United are in Europe, I think. So I'm actually uncertain about this, to be honest. Yeah. So he may want to go there and just try to see if he can get into the Man U team if they've got Europa League or something like that. But I don't think they made it. Nope. Yeah, so to be honest, I don't really understand the move if he does make it. So it'd be better off just staying at Newcastle, or maybe he feels that the Gea's position is a lot weaker. But I don't see how he gets past him. The Gea is the better shot stopper, and both of them are not particularly great with their feet. It doesn't make much sense to me unless Manchester United are trying to sell De Gea, but that's not likely right now. It's quite late in the transfer window, so nah. He's just going there to be back up. He must just not be very happy having to be back up to Nick Pope, and he must feel that the race for the first team spot at Newcastle is a lot closer, and he should be given the opportunity. But that Nick Pope is Eddie Howe's keeper. That's the man he's brought in, and when he was brought, you could pretty much tell that that's the player he wanted as his first choice goalkeeper. Yeah, also looking forward to the Wolves game on Sunday. I don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like we can beat them though. They've had a pretty poor start to this season. Yeah, we've only got 1 point from 3 games. But who they faced? Yeah, Fulham at home, no draw. Tottenham away, which is a tough game. And who was their first game? It's not showing it. So they're a very tough team, but I feel we can get a result. If we play anything like last week Sunday, then we can beat them. That's how I feel. And yeah, the last away at Wolves, that leads their first game, so it's gonna be tight because they don't concede a lot of goals. And now we've lost our main goal scorer, and Chris Wood's probably gonna be starting, but he loves Wolves, so I feel like he may enjoy himself on Sunday. We should have quite a few chances, I feel, and we can create a lot of problems for them. But I'll talk more about that in another broadcast. So once again, thank you for listening, wherever you are. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening or night. Peace.